Dun, dun, dun! Hello, beautiful people. It's me, Robin Vi Carpenter Briscoe, your favorite spiritual life coach. And I am grateful, grateful, grateful. I am so grateful to be here with you today. It is a rainy day here in Baton Rouge. It's what my mother calls a black and white movie day, which is simply a stay in the bed and watch black and white movies and snuggle kind of day. Yeah, I know you all know what I'm talking about. It is also day 26 of our journey with the magic and the crystals. Da, da, da. Yes, we are on day 26. Can you believe it? Day 26 of this magical journey that we have been taking together. Today's topic is magically transform mistakes into blessings. This sounds like a good thing. Yes, this sounds like alchemy, right? Taking something from one form and turning it into gold, taking essentially, generally it was when they talked about alchemy, it was taking some sort of base metal and turning it into gold by some sort of magic transformation. So we are taking mistakes and turning them into blessings. Today's first quote: turn your wounds into wisdom. Oprah. We all have a journey. No matter what challenges life brings, you can always count on your powerful spirit to keep you going. Me. So this one is all about taking a mistake. So I have issue with the word mistake simply because of what I believe about, which is what I believe about this this day. This is exactly what I believe. I believe that mistakes are not actually a thing. They are always lessons. There is always a blessing. You always got something out of it. If nothing else, what you got out of it was that you don't ever, ever, ever want to do that again. I don't ever want to experience that again. I don't ever want to do that thing again. No, ma'am, no, sir, nobody. I don't want to experience that. So now I will move right along. I love the analogy that I've heard in the past about when a child learns to walk. If every time that we stopped trying to do something simply because we weren't perfect at it we were perfect, but we weren't successful in our initial endeavor from the very beginning, then we just stopped doing it. So if a child did that, then as soon as they fell down when they first started learning to walk, they would just never learn to walk. They would just, no, never mind. I'm just gonna crawl. I got the crawling down. That's good. My legs get tired. I can do the army crawl thing. Like babies do all kinds of things. Rolling. I had a baby I used to take care of that would just like roll all over the place because that was an easy way to get around. I don't have to learn how to walk. But of course they learn how to walk. They learn how to walk and run and laugh. All the things, yes? So if we don't know how to do something right away, or it didn't come out exactly the way that we were originally wanting it to the first time, does not mean that we stop doing it. It simply means we try something else. And so the blessing just there is, now I'm glad I know that's not the way to do it. Right? So the deal that was with this one was that we were supposed to take something that was a mistake, right? That we really thought of it that way. And although what I'm about to share I was immediately doing this exact thing, this what we are doing in this practice today. I was immediately doing this as it was happening. I can tell you this, it was one of the most challenging times to do this practice. I got arrested. Now, I know that there may be 8 different things that you then thought of when I said I got arrested. What I can tell you is if I had paid for the camping site in the first place, I wouldn't have got arrested. Even better, if I had not been trying to rescue a relationship that was clearly failing, I wouldn't have gotten the camping ticket, which means I wouldn't have gotten arrested. This is a true story. The point is, this was one of the most challenging things that I have ever experienced, ever. And while it was happening, I was having all kinds of stuff. I was angry and full of shame, and I was all kinds of things. And then I was like, okay, what's really going on here? Like, how did I, who have literally done all the things that there are to do to not have this happening, and it's happening anyway. So clearly there's lesson that I'm not learning. What is this lesson? This is the internal conversation I was having with myself while I was sitting in the holding cell waiting to be booked into jail. Legit. It was what. So by the time that I was getting my mugshot taken, one of these days I gotta find it. Someone told me that you can find anybody's mugshot on like mugshot.com or some shit. But by the time I was getting the mugshot taken, I was laughing, and the sheriffs were all laughing with me and giving me a hard time. So it was not a typical arrest experience. I can promise you that. At the same time, I was still being arrested, and I still ended up having to change my clothes into stripes, and they issued me a spoon and a cup. So I had to, make my bunk. I legitly was in jail. It was like a whole experience. At the same time, when I sat down and started reading this, I was like, oh, I already know. I could tell, I could make this list. This is my thing, right? I love this practice because this is what I do all the time. It's like, okay. And it really goes back to my mom. It's Mom Day, I guess. It really goes back to my mom. And when I was a kid and we watched the movie Pollyanna, and my mom taught me the GLAD game, right? So if you've never seen Pollyanna, it's a movie about a girl who is always looking at the good side of life. She was, an orphan that went to this town, and everybody was grumpy in the town, and they all ended up loving her, and she ended up, pushing them all out of their comfort zones. It was brilliant. However, the thing that I learned as a child, and that has kind of taken me through, and which is kind of what this is about, is we play the GLAD game. Okay, this sucks. This is not my favorite thing. So what can we be glad about? Where is the blessing? So if you can do this was a thing that I did, and these are the 10 blessings I got out of it, you're kind of playing the GLAD game, except you're playing with yourself. And here's the thing. You actually have to go deep in this, because this is how you shift your mindset. Because the reality is, this is actually about admitting something to yourself. You have to accept your culpability in something happening that was not your favorite thing, right? You were like, oh, well, I was just learning. I didn't make a mistake. Yes. So it can become like what they call that spiritual bypass if you never admit that you did anything. At the same time, I'm going to tell you, this is not my favorite thing. So it is not always easy to say it. And actually, it's easier to say it to me than it is to say to my wife. Like, she'll call me out on it. I know you don't like to make a mistake. It's okay. When I'm like, no, but. It's good though, because that's the deal. You cannot shirk your understanding and acceptance of the reality that everything you do does not always work out exactly the way you intended at the beginning. Or maybe you weren't paying attention to something that would have been useful if you'd been paying attention to it. It's okay. Figure out the blessing. I learned that I need to pay attention to that. I learned that this doesn't make somebody happy. I learned that I really hate doing this thing, blah, 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 blah. I learned that I need to pay somebody else to do this thing because I continually am not going to do it. And I'd rather have it done and not have to worry about it. I learned these are all the blessings. These are all the things that you can be grateful for when something has happened, because this way you admit that it happened, you look for the blessings, it won't happen again. It simply won't. So, what is the stone that you can use in this situation? And the stone that I chose is a stone that I wear every day, and it is sodalite. This is sodalite. Now, it's very similar to lapis, except lapis is generally brighter it's got a little more yellow in it as far as the colors are concerned. So it's brighter, and lapis always has flecks of gold in it because of the pyrite. So sodalite is usually a deeper, more indigo color with the white going through it, and there's no pyrite. So sodalite is peaceful intuition. I am at peace with myself and the world around me. It balances your emotions and is calming and releasing around anger. So I think it's pretty clear why sodalite needs to be this stone for magically transforming your mistakes into blessings, because it's going to help you go, okay, calm yourself, right? Calm yourself, calm your mind, get yourself together, and understand this is not the end of the world. Because this didn't happen the way that you wanted it to, that frustration that you are now feeling, that thing that you are now doing where you're like throwing your hands up and winding yourself up in some way, or denying a thing, that's not helping you in any way, shape, or form. And it is also drawing to you more frustration, right? If we remain frustrated and we're always talking about our frustration and always pointing out our fears and always pointing out the thing that we're angry about, we will keep getting things to be frustrated, angry about. Yes? Yes. So sodalite helps calm that mind, helps you calm that and can help you get to that space of, what can I be grateful about in this situation? What do I really need to be learning right now that I need to be grateful for? It helps you see it and be at peace with it so that it can, help you with that lesson so you can keep moving, right? Our whole point is to always keep moving. It is always about moving on and moving as quickly as possible. We don't need to be stuck anywhere, right? So anger, frustration, disappointment, all the things, legs. None of that is helpful for moving forward until we figure out what it is, forgive ourselves for it, bless it, have gratitude around it, and keep moving. We don't have time for it. We don't have time for it. You don't have time. And what it does to your body, like your actual body, every time you have frustration where you act out or cry out or throw a thing or that stuff, that lives in your body. That energy lives in your body. And unless you release it with endorphins, unless you are following it up with blessings and sitting in that peace and focusing on love, that's going to continue to live in your body as stress. And you are going to feel stress. You are going to have tension in your body. You will probably have pain. You may get tachycardic, where your heart just starts beating. I always know when I haven't done the work because I get tachycardic. Literally, my heart starts beating faster because in the back of my mind somewhere, I'm like whirling myself up, or I'm holding on to some sort of stress, or I have some sort of fear, or I haven't let go of something that I needed to release. And my heart just starts like a hummingbird. And then I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then I sit and I stop myself right then. And I'm like, okay, what's really going on? And that's what you need to ask yourself, literally. I would suggest wearing it, but I wear lots of stones, so I'm always going to say something like that. I also have Sodalite on my desk and here in my studio because it is a writer's stone. So it's a throat chakra stone. This is why I wanted you to be able to use it, but it's an intuition. So it's throat chakra and third eye. So it's going to be able to speak what you know, right? Speak what you know. So writing is also a form of speaking what you know with words in a written form. However, you get the point. So Sodalite, get you some. This is the way to go with this. Yes? Yes. All right. What's left to say? Subscribe. That's what's left to say. You know that we are a couple of days away from the end of this series. And I already got another series in mind. Also, we have Illimitable Living sessions every Saturday morning, debuting at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So you want to be on the list. You want to get the notifications. Subscribe and get those notifications. So whenever if something happens, you are getting notified because there will be lots of really good things happening. Subscribe. Meanwhile, remember, you are illimitable. There is absolutely no way to limit you. You can have and do and be anything and everything that you truly desire because you are illimitable. And that means you can go out and create a life that rocks. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love you, my friends. I want you to have a glorious and wonderful day. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.